Hello there, Internet, and welcome to Geeky Ent. And on this episode, we are going to be discussing DC Fandom. Now, some of you may be asking, what is DC Fandom? What is it? Fandom? Fandome? Is it Thunderdome? That's a whole nother thing for the WWE and Mad Max. But DC Fandom, or Fandome, however you preference it.
So
All
with
right.
DC Fandom, it's pretty much DC's answer to Comic Con. Since Comic Con was canceled this year due to COVID, um, DC decided instead of joining in on Comic Con at home, they were going to host their own, um, we'll say, extravaganza. So they had everything from little games people can participate with. They had their own shop where you can buy like exclusive items. They had panels from TV, games, and even upcoming movies.
Yeah, they showed a lot, and basically it's kind of like what Mary said. It's DC's answer to the virtual Comic-Con, because Warner Brothers is the main company that owns DC. And I totally slipped. What does DC stand for? Where's Deej when I need him? I don't know, but DC and Warner Brothers.
Detective Comics.
No, that's just a comic line from them. It's something like really bland. If you guys know about it, go ahead and drop a comment below. We're going to actually, speaking of comments, a little side note, we're going to be trying something new on this video, and I call it active commenting. So when you guys see something that you guys want to comment on at that precise time when you watch the video, for instance, what does DC stand for in the DC Comics line, go ahead and drop a comment below. Let's just try that out. So when you're actively watching, let's actively comment on the or actively comment on the video. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Don't ask me how the algorithm works or how they get the statistics to actually have the hits and the views. It's something above my head, even though I have a master's degree and you're techie, with Mary being techie, so we don't even understand it. But long story short is that is not why you guys are here. We are here to discuss DC Fandom, and to kick it off, before I get to that, DC Fandom is a straight virtual panel conference. I believe it was interactive for the first 8-hour portion. And when I say 8-hour portion, it was a solid 10 a.m. Pacific time to 6 p.m. Pacific time, where they went back to back to back to back to back panels for 8 straight hours. Then once that 8 hours was complete, they went ahead and just did a rerun, and they did another rerun for all the global different time zones. So the very first panel that they did kick off with, in my opinion, was one of the very few highlights of the panels, was Wonder Woman 84. So, Mary, what did we get from Wonder Woman 84? I know we got a trailer. Uh, let's talk about Wonder Woman here and see what we can expect. I can tell you right now that we finally saw Cheetah in her full CGI outfit and stuff. So that was
We
pretty
did, and that
pretty
was
cool.
impressive.
That was pretty cool. Cheetah is one of Wonder Woman's main villains in the comic line, and they are releasing her out to wreak havoc, I suppose, uh, on Diana Prince and Chris Pine's character,
Steve Trevor.
Steve Trevor. But yeah, it's the one thing that it's kind of hard with this DC Fandom is that you had to be there to witness the events happen. To find like trailers and stuff, only Warner Brothers could release that. So from the way that I took it, they put an embargo out that any social media brands, such as on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, you couldn't really show anything on this. So we really can't show you guys what happened. We can only comment on it. And I can go ahead and give you some snippets here and there, maybe throw up some pictures of what's going on with the panels and how certain things look. But I'm actually looking forward to Wonder Woman 84, because out of all the DC live action movies, Wonder Woman was probably the best. Uh, because the Christopher Nolan trilogy is not part of the main DC universe, apparently. But what were your thoughts on Wonder Woman 84? Did you like it? Did you want to see more? What did you think about this, Mary?
I think the trailer itself was perfectly cut as far as with not giving too much away. So as far as it's giving more, I believe if they gave us more, then they would give out too much, and it, in my opinion, it takes the excitement away. So I was perfectly fine with the trailer that they showed.
Yeah, they didn't show too much, they didn't show too little, they showed just enough. And with the global situation going on right now, it's kind of tough to see when this film will release. I actually saw some commercials last evening on TNT that some movies are actually releasing in theaters on August 28th, which is this Friday. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought movie theaters were closed. I know some of them are
No,
social.
AMC is opening back up this Thursday, the 20th.
So
No,
that's
last Thursday. They opened last Thursday, the
so they're
20th.
doing the spacing, the social seating. So that's pretty cool to see that movie theaters can finally come back and get their movies out, because there are a lot of AAA releases that are holding off on the digital streaming services to release their movies. So that's pretty cool to see. So uh, let's talk about the next big thing that happened with um, DC Fandom, which actually I'm going to skip this one because I don't like it. But let's talk about another great thing that happened with DC Fandom, and that's uh, where is it? EA Montreal. I think it's EA. I forget. I don't know. But we're getting another DC video game, folks, and it is from the developers of Batman Arkham Origins, which is good and bad for those that have not played the Batman Arkham games. One, what the hell are you not playing the games for? Two, those were really great games
Yeah.
outside of the Arkham Origins game, and that's kind of where I'm going to segue into this. The Arkham Origins game was developed by a different developer, not by Rocksteady Games. They went ahead and are revealing their new Gotham Knights game. So, Mary, what did you take away from that? Because I know I was too busy actually paying attention for once on a virtual panel, trying to see what this was, because we only knew about the Suicide Squad game that was being released. So this one was kind of a just here you go, kind of like an E3 moment.
Yeah, so this one was a total surprise because it wasn't anything that we were expecting. So with Gotham Knights, the whole premise behind that is um, pretty much Batman died. So it's up to the Bat family to protect the city at any cost. So you have Batgirl is a playable character. There's Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin. Not sure which Robin because they didn't specify. To me, it doesn't look like Damian Wayne's Robin, but we'll see. As far as with the gameplay itself and even just the trailer for the game looks amazing. I'm already sold. Can't wait to pre-order it.
Yeah, the game, for those that aren't video game savvy or whatnot, typically they'll only show a trailer, and that's pretty much all a panel will do, especially when something hasn't been announced or leaked out online. But they actually showed the trailer, which showed the plot line, everything. So essentially, the storyline is the Bat family is taking over Gotham to kind of take over the Batman mantle, I suppose. But they actually showed gameplay, and it looks pretty decent. It's been a long time since we actually got a Batman Arkham game. The last one we did get was Arkham Knight, which I will not spoil. That one had a great twist at the end. And this one does have, it looks like we're going to be able to play four characters on this one. So we got Dick Grayson as Nightwing. I believe it is Barbara Gordon as Batwoman on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Todd as the Red Hood. And we have a Robin who, I'll go ahead and show up a picture really quick right now, but it looks like I don't know which version this one could be a video game only Robin, because the last one that we do have is Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
So I really don't know which one this is, but I'm hoping it's kind of like an iteration of Damian, because uh, Damian is probably my favorite Robin out of all of them. Um,
Oh, my
that's
favorite is Dick.
Yeah, but everybody loves Dick Grayson because he was the first one and stuff. So we really, he's kind of like on his own little pedestal. Like, okay, everybody loves Dick, so who's the next one? Which you got Jason Todd, or you got Damien, or you got uh
Batman's recycled a lot of Robins.
he has, and it's kind of like an addict recycling their different drugs. Like for me, I'm a self-proclaimed sugar junkie, coffeeaholic, so it's like going through the motions and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but let's just wrap this one up. But that was a great highlight. We are getting a new Batman game, and the best thing that I saw from this game was that we are getting the Court of Owls in
Yeah.
video games, which is huge. Now, the Court of Owls is a very relatively new villain society type group of characters who are under the old mannerisms of Gotham City. So it's going to be kind of fun to see how they incorporate Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Court of Owls into this video game. And I wish I started reading those comics back when they released in like 2014, 2015, because if you have a Batman #1 New 52, when they started this whole Court of Owls storyline, that #1 issue is going for a few chunk of change.
Oh
So
wow.
I actually came in late to the game and actually started up on Death of the Family because I'm a huge Joker fan, obviously. So
Really.
that's that. So let's talk about some more good news. This is right up your alley, so I'm going to give you this one here. We had a flash panel, the flash panel. So quite a few things were given off on this. We did have I think we saw a trailer on this one. I kind of was multitasking. So, Mary, what did we see when it comes to the CW Flash? Because I think was it just the CW Flash, or was it Ezra Miller's JL Flash, or was
There
it
were two Flash panels. The
okay?
first one was for the movie. That one I didn't get a chance to see, so I stepped out of the room and it was really quick.
That's the
The
problem
second
with it.
one, which was later in the evening, was off of the TV show. That one was really good. So as far as with the trailer for that, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but it pretty much picks up from where the season left off, because I'm not sure if you guys are caught up. If you're not, then it's definitely the right time to catch up before the new season, because the season was cut abruptly due to the studio not being able to finish filming because of COVID and everything was shut down. So, yes, definitely picking up from there. We have pretty much, as far as villains wise, looks like not introducing, because they already introduced him previously, but Godspeed is going to be one of the villains, and there's also another villain on there as well from last season. Like I said, I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'm not giving out any names, because unfortunately I'm not a spoiler person. So yeah, but it is definitely picking up. You see, from at least the trailer, you have it shows the inner conflicts that each person is dealing with. So Barry has his issues that he's conflicting with and trying to figure out. We have some great Cecile stuff. We have some great Iris stuff. So it's going to be a really good season, I
Yeah,
hope.
the Flash has always been a great TV show. I was watching it religiously for like the first 2 or 3 seasons, and then I just got caught up in life, and then I just kept missing episode after episode. So I recently started going back on Netflix and trying to catch up. So I think the last one that I saw, a Savitar, was like the
Oh yeah, you
last
have a good
or
minute.
yeah. So, and the problem is with these shows, the seasons aren't your normal 10 to 13 episodes. These are like 24 to 27 45-minute episodes, so you need to like
Yeah.
sit down and pay attention. uh but the great thing about that is that DC actually has like their own silver screen universe. So they got Supergirl, they got Black Lightning, they got uh Legends of Tomorrow. They got a whole slew, like a whole prime time TV evening time slot on just DC characters. So it's pretty cool. But I do like that they are continuing the Flash, because I believe Arrow did end up wrapping up and they are done with the Arrow. But from a comic book guy standpoint, and I'm pretty sure a comic girl standpoint, if you had to be asked a question, well, who would you rather have on your team, Flash or Arrow or Green Arrow? It's a no-brainer, just because the Flash can do a lot more. I've always found Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, kind of like a stepbrother to Bruce Wayne, like in terms of what he can do. But we've all had hard times in life, and Oliver Queen has too. So they talked about the Flash. Let's just go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, because I'm scrolling through the notes here, and I'm seeing a lot more good than bad.
Oh,
So
goodness.
let's just get this out of the way. And you know, you already know what I'm going to start talking about here. So this
Yeah,
is going to be the next.
so
This is going to be the rant of kind of like our last video.
will be
Whenever we did this,
nice.
and
Hopefully.
I'll go ahead and drop a link down below for that rant and why we believe that the Justice League Snyder Cut is going to be the best movie ever. And I just I don't know, because one, there's a couple ways to look at that. One is that you're rehashing something that didn't really sell right to begin with, but people are begging for this version to release. So basically, you were pressured into releasing this Snyder Cut. And don't get me wrong, like I hope it survives. I hope it's good. The only thing that I'm concerned with, not a question of concernment, is that this is like two Lord of the Rings movies almost. Not two, because those are three. Apparently they're splitting up the Snyder Cut into 4 1-hour episodes. So it's going to be
Oh, goodness.
episodic. And that's just the way that it's on the platform, because it is going to be released on HBO Max. So it's going to be probably like every week. So, because if from a business standpoint, on especially these subscription services, they have to keep the subscriptions active. So if you have, say, Netflix, where you can binge watch it on a weekend, you can finish whatever you want on a 7-day trial, versus HBO Max. I think they do have a 7-day trial, but they can't release everything and get that boost of subscriptions, and then everybody cancel their subscriptions after 7 days. Because one thing that they don't tell you is that if you do try any streaming services trial, they'll require you to put a credit card in, and you have to set a reminder to cancel it. If not,
Yep.
congratulations, you keep it. But when it comes to what they showed on this, it was like 45 minutes or so, I believe.
I believe so.
It was
I
about
wasn't counting. Feel like forever.
it was 45-minute panel, give or take. So let's just say it was 45 minutes. About 2.5 minutes of that was the trailer itself. About 5 minutes of that was a young lady professing her love to Zack Snyder. And then the rest of the time was just a lot of fluff and like what people wanted or were hoping to see, and this is going to be amazing, this is what's going to be there, and what's going to be this. So I'm gonna be the Swede. I'm gonna be the neutral player in this. I am not having any expectations for this film, and the reason why I'm doing that is because if it exceeds my expectations, cool, I'm impressed. But if I'm disappointed, that feeling is worse than being unimpressed, if you get my drift. So feeling like you are waiting for something to come out and to find out that it just sucked, or take
Like we
Dexter
did
for
with the original Justice League film?
yes, just like the original 2017 Justice League film. This was the reverse Marvel psychology of what Disney did. So Justice League put everybody in the movie instead of giving everybody a backstory. Now, I did kind of go back in and listen to what Zack Snyder said, and he did say that there was going to be a lot more backstory on the characters that we don't know about per se. So a lot of people don't know about who Victor Stone is, who is Cyborg. A lot of people, hell, even myself included, and you, like, we know who the Flash is. from either comics or the TV show, but we don't know who Ezra Miller's Flash is. Like, the only thing that we got was that he came out of a Flashpoint portal and said, "You need to come with me." I think he was talking to Ben Affleck or Bruce in the movie. But there were a lot of problems in the 2017 movie that I hope can get remedied, because they showed a lot of footage in the trailer for that older movie that wasn't in the final cut. All of Darkseid's parademons, all of this, all of that. So if they can remedy that with a 4-hour film, good. I hope they can. But other than that, I feel like they didn't really show anything. And last thing that I'm going to rant off on before I pass this off to you and get your thoughts is that the true fans want Darkseid in this film. We're getting Darkseid, but to have a 2.5-minute trailer show only the first 5 seconds of that trailer, show Darkseid, and it wasn't like an obscure photo of him or anything. It was like a good 5-second shot of Darkseid doing whatever he does. But outside of that, they didn't really show anything that could like really drive the story, because keep in mind, folks, this is a rehash of the 2017 movie. We're just getting added on patches that look like there were plot holes that were missing. So all in all, I don't like what we got there. It just felt like a lot of fluff. I know personally, if this was at San Diego Comic-Con and if this was at Hall H and I waited overnight or whatever, how long it is to get into the Warner Brothers panel, I would have been highly disappointed. So that's my rant on the bad news on this one. So Mary, what do you think about that besides Jason Momoa's apparent good looks?
Anywho, I agree with everything that you said as far as with the assessment of the Snyder Cut. My biggest thing that I have with, I guess, the whole shebang with the Snyder Cut itself is the fact that this movie versus, I guess, the updated movie, I don't know. I feel like everyone is, yeah, crapping on the original, which, yeah, the original was not the best at all. But this is what we have to remember slash think about when it comes to this film. The film, when it originally started shooting, Snyder, was the director. Unfortunately, he had to pull out for family reasons, and they ended up bringing in someone else. Someone else is Josh Whedon, as we all know. I mean, we've all seen Josh's other work, including Age of Ultron. So it's not like, what's what I'm looking for? It's not like he's a bad director, because he has a whole, despite your personal feelings of him and all the stuff we've been hearing lately, a lot of his work that we've seen, it's all been pretty good. Now, as far as with the whole shooting, he pretty much had to work with whatever they gave him, because the film was, correct me if I'm wrong, a good chunk of it was already filmed. And when he came in, they had to do a lot of reshoots and stuff like that. So based off of the trailer and just based off of all of that, it's not too much of a difference outside of, obviously the reshoots with the CGI off of the mustache and everything else and all of your other mishaps. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the best. And I think this is all just a waste of time. But from a monetary standpoint, I can see why they're releasing it.
Yeah, excuse me. So it's exactly like you said, from a monetary standpoint, when it comes to having this kind of culture and this kind of fans wanting something, of course they're going to get it. So on this aspect, they said, okay, how are we going to monetize and capitalize on this investment? So they're going to put it on a streaming platform, and they're going to cut it up into 4 1-hour episodes, and then that's going to keep the longevity of those subscriptions, or at least get the first $14.99 out of the month. Or if you're a logical person, you could wait until all the episodes are released, then do a trial. But of course, you're going to run into spoilers online or different aspects. I know for one, I'm not going to rewatch the Justice League movie, even though I own it, just because it's like you said, it's a waste of time. So I mean, other than that, those were the only two panels that showed a full-blown trailer with no, pre-editing or anything like that. It was only the Justice League and Wonder Woman. But there were some other stuff that I didn't even know that came out, because I'm done talking about the negative stuff. We had a whole video on the Justice League, and honestly, there's not really much else to say. And I'll drop a comment or drop a link down below to that previous video, so you guys can check that out. But one thing that, okay, let's put my excitement back up a little bit. When it comes to, do I want to talk about video games or do I want to talk about a movie? Let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about the movie. Why not? Let's talk about Suicide Squad. So Suicide Squad is having another movie, which is pretty good. James Gunn is doing it, so I mean, that should be pretty good. And the Suicide Squad movie, people were bashing it. Again, I went in with no expectations, and it was actually a decent film for what it was. So was Harley Quinn's movie. I know you're biased towards that, but the Harley Quinn movie actually impressed me. It was good. The story plot, everything was great. So I enjoyed it. But the Suicide Squad, that one is, this one looks like it's going to be pretty decent. We did not get a trailer, though. We only got like a behind the scenes type.
We got a teaser reel or something like that. I don't think this movie, it's supposed to come out next year, August 6, 2021. However, with the global situation, we don't know what's going on with that. But it looks like here we do have some new cast of people here. So we have Idris Elba is coming in to play Bloodsport. We have Pete Davidson, no comment, is playing Blackguard. And we have John Cena. That one I can comment on. I like John Cena. He's playing as Peacemaker. So we're getting 3 brand new characters to the Suicide Squad film. What else do we have here in terms of... We're getting a whole slew of new characters.
We're getting... Suicide Squad is kind of like just the outcast and said, what can we do with these characters? Let's just put them into a group. Let's just do that. So we're getting a new Suicide Squad, which apparently, I'm just seeing a little side note here. So the first movie is called Suicide Squad. This one, the sequel, is called The Suicide Squad. That's the English.
So they're not counting it as a sequel. In this case, they're looking at revamping it. That's why they're calling it The Suicide Squad versus Suicide Squad 2.
That's true. I see it here. It is not a direct sequel. So this is either a reboot, or are we just going to forget the first one, or which is kind of hard to do just to forget the first one, because you had a spin-off movie with one of the characters. So I don't know how they're going to incorporate it. That's why they pay them the big bucks to figure it out. If they paid me to do it, I could do it, but they just got to pay me. One other, let's see here. There was not much on these 3 little things here. So not much on Aquaman. We are going to be getting a sequel, but they don't really have a tentative release date. They're looking at a 2022 release date. So we are getting another Aquaman movie. Do you have any information on that, Mary? Because I don't see anything else.
No, I don't believe they've released any information as far as with the new Aquaman film.
So for Aquaman fans, there's really not much there. Shazam 2 got its subtitle. It is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So Shazam did well enough at the box office to get a sequel, which is pretty cool. So that is coming out in November 2022.
And for all of you, sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead, because I got nothing
Mandela
else.
Effect fans, we have Sinbad.
Yeah, I did see that. So Sinbad, they don't know if he's actually going to be in the movie, if he's just part of it, or if he's a producer. But I approve of Sinbad. I loved him in Jingle All the Way, and
Oh
all
yeah.
that stuff. And like I still quote his quote from that movie, you know, people put bombs in the post office. It's a sick world we live in. It's a sick world. And
Or I have the ears like a snake.
it's true. Yeah, exactly. It's so true. Like, you know, now the times are just like, it's a sick world we live in. So it's cool
Oh,
that
I
we're
love
seeing
that
a
movie.
Shazam too. I mean, oh, I can talk about Jingle All the Way all the time. Turbo Man. It's
Oh, I
still
think
one of
that's
my
gonna be our Christmas film. We're
that
gonna
like,
like rate Christmas movies. Stay
oh,
tuned.
I will discuss Elf all day long.
And
So
Home
yeah,
Alone. You can't
and
forget
Home
about that.
Alone and Die Hard. That's
Oh,
another Christmas
Scrooged.
movies.
Love
So
that one.
there's so much more, but still no time. Sandman. Sandman. We are getting. It looks like a Netflix series, so it looks like it's going to Netflix. But I don't know what else is going on with Sandman. I do know that I kind of passed on the revamped Black Series Sandman DC comics, just because I have so much more going on. But it looks like it's going to be an updated version of the Sandman. So I know I didn't see this panel, but I don't know if it's on Netflix. I do know that they can do a lot more on Netflix versus doing something on the big screen at movies.
Yeah,
They
they
can get
didn't
a
really give too much about the Netflix
yeah, they
show.
can do so much more detail. And I do know that the Sandman is kind of a diverse character, so they need kind of time to get that in the line. So, Sandman coming to Netflix. What else do we got here? We have Titans is coming for its third season. To
No teaser on that one,
no
unfortunately.
teasers, so nothing there. That is the main episode for DC Universe. Now that's going to beg the question: what's happening with DC Universe now that HBO Max does have it? Will it come out on DC Universe first for like the
Um,
first year, kind of like how Hulu and Netflix do it, or I don't know, because
so from what I've heard around the block, um, they're phasing out DC Universe.
that's what I assume because everything is on HBO Max with the
Yeah,
exception of the digital content
and
of
if you
comics.
even look at, if you go to DC Max, they're like, for instance, Doom Patrol. They're counting it as a DC Max original, not even. I'm sorry, not DC Max, the HBO Max original, not even a, you know, DC Universe thing anymore. So they're slowly phasing that out, just like with Stargirl. That one, it was concurrent on both platforms, but now it's solely going to be on the CW.
Right, so it's kind of confusing. It looks like DC Universe didn't have enough sustainability to
No, I
live on
think
its own.
they just put all the focus on HBO Max, and then when they had their big shopping block,
Hmm. Because when was DC Universe? That was, what year are we in? 2020? This was 2018 when we saw all the trucks and stuff at San Diego. I think it
I
was
believe it
it.
launched last year though.
No, because this is season two. Titans has been out for two seasons, which I still
That's
haven't followed
true.
up. I think it was
That is true.
2018 was when it, and they had that introductory rate of like $70 for the whole year
Yeah,
or whatnot, or it was 2018 or 27. I want to say 2018
it would have to
or
be 2018.
2017. I don't know. We're old and we really don't know how we think about these
Time goes
things,
by way too fast to keep
especially
up
in
with all of
these
that.
everything now. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and see here. We got, it looks like two more things to discuss. One thing that
Oh,
go ahead.
I know this isn't on your radar to discuss, but I do want to bring it up really quick, really brief. Something that I am excited about,
Black
because it was
Adam.
something that I was mentioning in our group chat, and comes to find out, it is in the works.
Black Adam.
It's no
Damn. Go
Static
ahead.
Shock.
Static Shock.
There's a
Elaborate.
movie in the works. I don't have any details really yet, but I have been seeing it. It wasn't outside. I must have briefly missed it. But when they were talking about, I forgot the name of the imprint that it was on. Um, in the comments, refresh my memory. I have a lot going on, so sorry. But yes, Static Shock is coming back in movie form. I don't know when it's coming out, but they are in talks of releasing it, which is great because Static Shock, I don't know if you guys remember the cartoon show or even remember reading the comic books.
I don't remember anything. Sorry, I just said hi to Ray, and she just She wants to come and say hi. So yeah, we're getting more new content, and I like that they're kind of bringing out the older stuff again. It's good to see that we are getting newer stuff, which is always amazing to see. But we just don't know when we're getting them. That's the only trick. Now that it seems like everything is delayed. But one thing that is coming is The Rock. And when I saw Black Adam come and finally show himself off as Black Adam, I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. But they showed more a little bit. We are not just getting Black Adam. We are getting the Justice Society of America, which is essentially kind of like a smaller version of the Justice League of America, but it's got its own cast and characters. So we're getting flipping Dr. Fate, which is
we're getting Atom Smasher.
We're getting Hawkman, getting Cyclone, Atom Smasher. I just know Dr. Fate is kinda like Doctor Strange in the DC universe, kinda. The only thing
I believe this is the first live action Dr. Fate.
It is, because we've got only Constantine, who they completely botched twice, with Keanu and then the other guy. But yeah, this is the first Dr. Fate that we're getting, and that's going to be pretty cool to see. For those that don't know, go ahead and search up who Dr. Fate is. The only difference, like I said, is in Doctor Strange, all his power is in his little necklace. In Dr. Fate, the power is in his helmet.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool thing to have. But I was like, okay. First of all, I was just excited to see finally a picture of Black Adam, which is amazing. But then he actually does kind of like he did a wrestling promo at the end. He actually said that the DC universe, or he said something along the lines of, now that there's the next power level is entered in, and like he's the next guy. So that's pretty cool. So it got a little bit of hype, but there was no release date, no trailer, which means they are probably, I think they are, he said it, that they're shooting right now.
Yeah.
Which means this is not coming out till 2022. So it's coming. We just don't know when. But that's good news, at least, so on that one. But the last thing here,
the elephant in the room,
was in my opinion, because this is DC, well, it's arguable. He is DC's, in my opinion, DC's biggest character, but it's arguable against Superman. But the last thing that was finally showed, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if there's anything else that I missed, but these were the biggest highlights. They actually showed the Batman, which is actually the proper way of saying it. It's not just Batman. He has always been known as the Batman. And this trailer actually surprised me. It's very dark and gritty. I don't think it has a release date yet, but it is.
No, they're still filming that one.
They're still filming it, and I'm actually reading here. It's only a third of the way shot, which means there's a bunch of editing to do, which can take 6 to 9 months. So this one I'm actually pretty surprised on. I did not know Catwoman was going to be in the film.
Really?
I did not know that, because like I like to be surprised when it comes to like Batman and stuff like that. Or in the case of Star Wars, like I'll only see the trailer and that's pretty much it. I won't read into it more. But the villain, was that Hush in the villain? I don't know who the main guy was in the
No, I don't believe that was. I don't remember them casting anyone to play Hush.
I don't even know who the main villain is, but it is Robert Pattinson's always got this, how do I put this, like this perception that he's got to be this glittered vampire and stuff, but it's kind of like the perception of Heath Ledger when he was cast as the Joker. I don't know. We'll see how this actually plays out. I don't know what era Bruce Wayne is going to be in this point, but
they're saying it's it's 2 years after he became back, so year 2 virtually. So I'm looking it up, and there's still some people that were cast that they don't have who's playing what role, but we do see a Riddler, we see a Penguin,
We
and we
did see
even have
Riddler.
a Falcone.
There were Riddler hints because there were a lot of question marks and a lot of clues left in the trailer, uh, left to Bruce Wayne and Gordon and everything. So the trailer, go ahead and check out the trailer for the Batman. It actually was it was a nice way to like kind of top off the whole DC fandom event. Now this was only part one. Part two, another 8 hours of good
Will be
interaction.
August 12th. No, September 12th.
September 12th. That one I believe is more for I think the comic side or whatever.
TVs.
For TV stuff like that. This was more Warner Brothers, so this was more of the big screen and stuff. But the Batman actually looks pretty kick-ass, if you ask me. The suit looks great. The Batmobile looks nice and rugged, kind of like a year two Batman should.
And I even like his voice.
He doesn't have the raspy voice. He's actually like a normal human freaking being, and I'm like that's very appreciative, where he actually looks down to earth and stuff like that for whatever he is. But I'm actually looking forward to it, and something that I am excited to see per se. So all in all, that was pretty much the DC Fandom / Fandome event. Besides the Justice League, like whatever, there were a couple few hints in there, but honestly, this video has gone on for about maybe 30 minutes, so we just saved you 7.5 hours of content, and that's pretty much where it's at. So if you've listened to this podcast, you can go ahead and Google or YouTube search whatever you want to see of what we dived on. I do recommend looking up the Batman trailer, looking up what Gotham Knights is all about, the Wonder Woman 84 trailer, and I think that's pretty much.
You know what, too, if you're also into gaming, the Suicide Squad versus Justice League game actually looks pretty sweet as well. It kind of is reminiscent to Injustice, but it's clearly not an Injustice game.
It does, and I think that's the creators Rocksteady. That's the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call it, the subtitle now, versus the Justice League. So we'll see. It's I'm waiting for an Injustice 3 game, and if oh my god, who's the creator? It's the Mortal Kombat Ed Boon guys. It's slipping out of my mind, but they usually do Mortal Kombat Injustice, Mortal Kombat Injustice. So the next one up should be Injustice 3 if they go that route. So we'll have just have to wait on that. But yeah, besides those 3 points, I mean, that was DC Fandom in its entirety. I really have no other closing comments in terms of actually this event. Mary, do you have any things that you want to tell the viewers in terms of what to look out for, anything on terms of this?
Just look up if like you can find the trailers that for the stuff that we mentioned. Definitely look it up and give us your thoughts. Totally open to reading what other people's opinions are.
Yeah, we do read the comments and we do respond and reply to you guys. So go ahead and drop a comment below and say what you guys thought about DC Fandom. If there is anything that you want to see in terms of what DC is rolling out, go ahead and drop a comment below, and we will try to do our best to contact the DC directors. And not much else we can do there, but go ahead and drop a comment below, because in terms of what we're all about, the geek culture is kind of a very tight-knit group, so we want to go ahead and see what you guys thinking and everything. So drop that comment below, utilize that comment system, and we'll go ahead and talk about it. So until then, my friends, go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you have not subscribed to Geeky Ent. We will be coming out to you with much more content, hopefully in the next couple days or so, depending on the schedules and everything. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Don't forget to geek out.
Don't forget to geek out and stay. And we'll see you on the next video.